Aloha, shalom, and Shabbat shalom. We're almost at solstice time. We're 4 days away from solstice, and I'm excited. The energy feels amazing. So nice to see everybody celebrating the holidays however they choose to celebrate them with their families and their friends and their loved ones. So it's a beautiful time of year. And of course, it's the full moon, so we're meeting now for the full moon activation. For those of you who are new to these videos, we've been doing them every single week for a little over 4 years now, and a pretty amazing community has built around these activations. And for those of you who are not new, welcome back. Welcome back to the activation portal. So good to see you guys tuning in. As usual, I'm tuning in from the lovely Sedona, Arizona. The lovely, magical Sedona, Arizona. And let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Hooray! So good to see you guys. Drop a comment. Let me know where in the world you are tuning in from. And remember, these videos don't actually have anything to do with the moon other than the fact that we use it as a measurement of time so that we can meet 4 times a month. The symbol that the moon is reflecting to us, the stage of the moon, is just showing us a reflection of what's happening inside of our own selves. It's giving us a reflection of a process that's happening back of all things. Awesome. France, Tucson, Arizona, West Virginia, Florida, California, sweet, Lithuania, awesome. So the full moon activation is all about the part of the cycle each month where we're coming to the point of clarity and vision of what's been going on, what's the lesson we learned this month. All the details are being revealed in the fullness of the light. And so this week is all about just looking at all of those things that have been revealed up until this point. Uncovering what's been going on this month and really taking it in. Next week will be the final quarter activation, and that's when we will wrap things up and prepare for the new moon the following week. But this week, the full moon activation is about just taking in the big picture. Okay, so one step at a time. So let's ask, what is the challenge this week? Let's pull the card in the center. It's going to show us what to focus on as we move through the mission of the week, which is just to take in all that's being revealed. What is a key that's going to help us best take in this picture, best receive the fullness of this picture? And thank you, Archetypes, Faces of the One, in advance for this message. Thank you, everyone who is tuning in right now live to open up this activation portal. And thank you to everyone who's going to watch this video across time and space, because whenever they do, it's the perfect moment, because nothing is outside of the perfection of divine order. So thank you, thank you. And before I pull the card, if you want to go ahead and share this video with your favorite groups, maybe a family member, maybe a friend, someone who could use an inspirational message right now, like the one that's about to come through, or somebody who could help to open up this portal even further, go ahead and share it now while we're live. Or feel free to wait until the end to share. So the challenge, as we open up to receive the picture, something we can step away from, something we can let go of in order to be more present to move through this challenge right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and take out my Hebrew cards. They look like this. And I'm going to pull our ally force for the week. All right, I've got 3 cards on the table. It looks like this. All right, here we go. The challenge for this week of the full moon. 3 of Cups. And there are a few messages that just pop out immediately with this card. First of all, it's Cups, so it's the suit of water. Emotions, feelings. So it's going to involve those situations and relationships that our heartstrings are all tied up in. And it's about the number 3. 3 is about action, integration, union. So the challenge of the week is really looking at who are we celebrating life with? Who are we taking on life with? Who are we doing this thing with? Really look at, this week, under the light of the full moon, look at all of the people, all of the relationships, romantic, familial, work, all of the people you're invested in right now. Which of those connections are really supportive of what you've got going on right now, but not just on a material level, really supportive of what you've got going on right now on a spiritual level as well. So first you want to look at, what are your goals right now? What are your goals? Yes, in this material world, as far as your work, the projects you've got going on, but how are they, in a deeper sense, helping you to fulfill your spiritual goals? How are the projects and opportunities you've got going on right now offering you the chance to expand psychologically, spiritually? So first it's starting there, really looking at, are the projects I have going on right now supporting my highest growth? And then from there, because you're not done yet when you get to that point, and then from there asking, how are the relationships in my life, or how are the relationships in my life not supporting those goals? Are the people I'm invested in right now, are the relationships I'm invested in right now really supporting me to grow in the ways that I need to grow right now? And even if it feels good, especially if it feels good to be around these people, look closer. Just because something feels good or it's a pleasurable experience to be around someone or spend time with someone doesn't necessarily mean that it's for the highest good of your path, of their path. So it's about really examining the relationships we have in our lives right now and asking, how are we helping each other? How are we serving each other in ways that will help us to grow, to become the next best version of ourselves? We're not here to just get comfortable. We're not here just for pleasure. We're here to grow, and growing can be pleasurable. In fact, growing is the most pleasurable thing because it fulfills the deepest aspects of who we are. It fulfills us on a soul level. When we commit to our growth psychologically and spiritually, our hearts are fulfilled, and that's something to really cheers to. That's something to really celebrate. Pleasure is temporary, but the deep fulfillment and joy that comes of living our purpose creates a light that is eternal. We are not here to experience temporary pleasure. We're here to experience the deepest pleasure, which comes of the heart's fulfillment, which comes from living our purpose, aligning our thoughts, our words, and our actions to support this living our purpose. And of course, that directly involves looking at the relationships that we have, looking at the people that we're invested in, because of course we need to look at the projects, the jobs, the places, the situations we're invested in, but particularly the people. Because we are most easily able to see oneness, to see God, to see the Creator in the eyes of another human. And yes, the Creator is in all things, and so we hope to develop the ability to see our own reflection in every living being and in all things. But it's easiest and most natural for us to see ourselves in the eyes of another human because they're in our image. Just like we're created in the image of the one. It's easiest to see our connection when it's so relatable. So human relationships, our family members, our close friends, the humans, the people that our hearts are tied to become a powerful tool in our experience. Our relationships with other humans in this life are so powerful. Each relationship is a ritual. Really, every experience, everything that we touch in this life, every being we communicate with, the environment that we communicate with as we move through life, it's all a relationship because it's all one. We're just relating to the self, right? But what I'm saying is, it's most obvious, this connection, our unity, is most obvious in human-to-human connections. And so this card reminds us of that, very much so. Okay, give me one moment here. I want to do one thing. Just gotta remove a troll. Okay, done. And so this card reminds us of that. It says, look to your relationships. Look to the people in your life right now. And understand that the way that you're relating to them is showing you something. It's showing you the way that you're relating to yourself. It's showing you the way that you're relating to the world. So for example, if your relationships are superficial, you're viewing yourself, even subconsciously, maybe you're not even aware, you're viewing yourself from a superficial perspective. You're viewing life from a superficial perspective, which is why you are settling for superficial relationships and you're not opening up to more depth. Okay, so, and on the other hand, if you're looking at your relationships and they are reflecting depth of mind, of spirit, they're inviting maybe philosophical conversation, they're inviting in new information to help you grow, then what that is showing is you are committed to growth. You're seeing yourself as worthy of this process of evolution. You're seeing yourself as worthy of reaching new heights. You're seeing life as an experience of learning, and that's beautiful and positive. So that's what we're being invited to do right now. Really look at the relationships we're involved in. Again, romance, family, work, and ask, how are they telling me about myself? How are my relationships showing me my beliefs and ideas about myself? And myself, which encompasses all of creation. How are these relationships showing me what I think about the world and what I think about my path and what I'm worthy of and the direction I should be headed in? Allow your relationships to reveal to you the ways in which you've been viewing yourself and the world. And from there, refine. You could either welcome in new relationships or stay with the ones you've got, but make sure that if you're staying with the ones you've got, you shift the energy to be in the most support of your highest path right now. So your relationships may already be pretty good, but we're being asked to take them to the next level. So that could look like something as simple as asking your friends or your loved ones, how can I support you more? What are your hopes and your goals and your dreams and your visions right now? And how do I maybe have qualities that I can be more conscious of so that I can, with awareness, reflect them to you more strongly, offer those reflections to you more strongly so that you can receive them and take them in and use them as your own. Use them as gifts for your path. How can we support each other more? So either your relationships are already supporting your highest path, and we can invite dialogue so that we can bring more awareness to those positive and supportive qualities to enhance them, right? Because energy flows where attention goes, right? So it could be as simple as that. Or you see that your relationships are telling you, oh, I've been seeing I'm not worthy of more love. I'm not worthy of good and positive relationships and friendships because I haven't been treating myself with that positivity and support. So it's time for me to get new friends, or it's time for me to open up that dialogue with these friends so that even if we do end up parting ways, we can part at least with some inspiration to move in the direction, them and me, to move in that direction of support and of positivity. Okay, so it's about using whatever relationships you've got right now as a vessel to grow. How can we support each other further? That might mean going deeper in the relationship we're in right now, or it might mean parting ways. And if that's the case, you've got to remember the most important thing, that whenever it appears you are walking away from someone or something, time and space are an illusion. You're never walking away from anything, because as you're walking away, you're walking to something else. It's all connected. It's all one. You can't walk away from something that is literally connected to you. Okay? So remember that. When you start to feel afraid that you have to walk away from something or someone or leave something behind, it may appear that way in this dimension, in this material dimension, but it's never the actual and ultimate truth. And know this, whatever work we do in that relationship that we're afraid of walking away from, whatever we've done up until that point, all that's real, the light that we've cultivated in that relationship that we're so afraid of leaving, that can never leave us. That light is forever. The work we do stays with us forever. There's no turning back. And that light that you've created is the only thing you should be attached to. In fact, that's the thing that you feel so deeply for. You think you're connected to the person, maybe their body or their path, their ideas. It's not the person that you should stay so attached to. They are you anyway. You are one. But what your soul really feels connected to is the work that you've done together. Okay, so if you're leaving a relationship, or if you're leaving a project, if you're leaving a job, affirm now is a good time. A time that's better than ever to affirm, hey, everything that I loved about that experience will stay with me forever. I got everything I needed out of that experience, and I gave everything that I possibly could to that experience. I did my best. And if there's some part of you that doesn't resonate with that truth, if there's a part of you that feels that you didn't do your best, then now is a time for that to be revealed under the light of this full moon as you affirm, I did my best and the situation did the best for me. And if you say that, you say, oh, that doesn't feel right. Well, now it's your chance to ask, how can I still step away from the situation because I know I have to, but do it with more grace, do it with more closure, say whatever I need to say, do whatever I have to do to really honor this ending and new beginning that I'm moving through right now. So that I can get to the point of being confident when I affirm I gave my best and I received all that I could from this experience. Because only then can you honor the ending and open up to the new beginning with the most preparedness, with the best mindset, with your best foot forward. Okay? So ask yourself, who are the relationships in my life right now? What is my heart invested in right now? And how could it tell me about the way I'm seeing myself, the way I'm seeing the world? Okay. Are these relationships worth celebrating and lifting my cup to? And for what reason? Why? Is the work we're doing going to affect the future generations? Do we all meet in that space of knowing that the way that we're relating to each other and the work that we're doing together, the time we spend together, it is for a purpose. It is so that we can affect not just our own individual realities, but affect our shared reality in a way that's going to make a better world for the generations to come. Because if those relationships around you aren't meeting you in that space, how is it showing you that maybe you're not rising up to that space? You're not living up to your potential. And so you're settling for relationships that keep you limited until you can finally learn how to break past that point and how to be better, do better, attract better, ask for better. Okay, so the limitations in your relationships are showing you, revealing to you the limitations that you are accepting. It's time to ask why you've been accepting those limitations. And it's time to neutralize the effects of those limitations. And it's time to set a new program in motion. It's time to correct those limitations. And don't be so hard on yourself that you've allowed these limitations for as long as you have. Remember that everything is in perfect order, so don't be fooled. The limitations were only there so that you could gather as much experience and as much information as you needed to come to this point so that the limitation could be revealed and transformed at the perfect moment. So when you discover your limitations, be so grateful, be excited, and know that that's where the work needs to be done, to remove the limitations, to break the dam, to open up the waters, to allow the energy to flow so that new blessings can come in, so that new relationships can come in, or new ways of relating within the relationships that already exist can take place. And all of that will simply be a reflection of the inner work you're doing, removing the inner limitations within your mind, within your heart, within your relationship to yourself. And that will reflect in your relationships with others and in your relationship with the environment, your relationship with the world. Okay, so you can use your relationships to affect the relationship you have with yourself within. Allow your relationships without to tell you about the one you have within. And vice versa. Allow the relationship you have with yourself to tell you about the relationship you have with the world and with others. Right now is a particularly good time to be doing this work. The light of the full moon is here to help you fully reveal all of these key factors so that you can grow. Okay, moving on to the next one, something that we're leaving in the past. So we've got a 2 of Swords. So far we have a 2 and a 3. The reading I did right before this activation for somebody was also that way, very clear. 9, 10, 10, an ace. Okay, so we have a 2 and a 3. And this is the card we want to leave behind us, representing the energy we want to leave behind us to free up our presence, to be here now to do this work. And 2 of Swords, Swords is challenges. 2 of Swords is about indecision, not knowing which way to go, feeling stuck. Okay, we're leaving this behind. Whoop. I've got a roll-away earring somewhere. It literally rolled away. So I'll just forget about it for now and keep flowing with the portal here. Okay, so we are no longer going to remain paralyzed and stuck in indecision. It's time to take action. And a lot of you may be thinking, well, I don't know which action to take. How do I just become unstuck? How do I just get myself unstuck? You need to trust that this process is connected. Stop trying to think so hard about which way to go. Or which person do I go deeper in relationship with? Well, which job do I do next after I leave this job? Or if I stop this project, what will I occupy myself with next? Relax. Relax. We're at that time of year where we're meant to really just reflect. Go within. Take a moment, take a breath. Okay? Instead of trying to make that decision so quickly, instead do the work and the decision will be made for you. The choice will make itself. The choice will become clear. Instead of trying so hard to make a decision, self-sabotaging because you feel like you're struggling so much to make a decision that you're just creating more trauma. You're creating more stress, more anxiety for yourself. Let it go for a moment. Let it go. Focus on this. There are some key elements here to discover about yourself and what's been going on with your relationship to yourself, your relationship to others, and your reality. So once you really look at your relationships and you look at what you've been accepting and all the things that also you've been limiting yourself from because of all of your limiting beliefs, then you will start to understand more. You'll go, oh, okay, I see how these relationships are showing me that I have felt I'm not worthy of support, or I'm not worthy of the truth, or I'm not worthy of honesty. Hey, maybe I haven't been fully honest. Maybe I haven't been fully patient with others. Okay, because when we are not giving our best self to others and to the world, right? Like if we're being more in the embodiment of the vices and not the virtues, for example, then we start to cultivate subconscious guilt or shame. And deep inside, we start to tell ourselves we're not worthy of those things that we ourselves are not giving to the world. Because the world is us. So whatever we're not giving to the world, it's not going to give back. Remember, and in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make, right? You know this. It's an ancient truth. It's an ancient knowing. It's universal law, karma, whatever you want to call it. You get what you give. And so again, if we're not giving our best selves, then deep inside we have an expectation that we're just not going to get that. We're not going to get that from the world because we're not giving it. And the deepest part of ourself is connected to universal truth. It knows and trusts 100% in the truth that we only get what we give. So even if you think you can continue to live in self-denial, think again. You can't hide from the truth. You, the truest you, cannot hide from the truth. You are one with that truth. You are made of that truth. So you can't deny yourself. Even when you try to fool yourself and tell yourself you can. Okay, so remember, what you give is what you get. And if you've already really been on a good path and been trying really hard and been very patient and honest, okay, the work is never done. How can you pump it up? How can you take it to the next level? Because that's what we're being offered right now. All of us, wherever we're at on the path, we're all in this together. How can we take our process to the next level? How can we ensure that we clear out, that we remove all hidden subconscious doubts, fears, or expectation of the worst? Because truly that's what we've been given. Given because we're giving. So the only way to remove all that shame, guilt, doubt, fear, or expectation of the worst is to be the best. To give love, support, patience, honesty, kindness, forgiveness. Because when we occupy ourselves every moment with embodying those virtuous frequencies, with doing acts of goodness, acts of kindness, acts of service, when we busy ourselves with that consistently, dedicating ourselves to that process, it simultaneously clears out all that doubt, all that guilt, all that fear. And then we no longer have this voice deep down saying, life, give me crap. Give me the worst relationships. Give me impatience. Don't support me. Give me a lack of support. That's what we're doing when we're giving a lack of support, when we're giving impatience to our relationships and our environment. We're asking for it. We're asking for it. So we need to be really clear on that. That is what the archetypes are telling us this week in particular. We are asking for what we're giving. Those things are not separate from each other. So let's really lock that program in right now. Let's affirm together that, hey, whatever I'm thinking, I'm asking for that reflection. Whatever I'm saying, I'm asking for that reflection. Whatever I'm giving or not giving, I'm asking for that in reflection. Let's just be really clear on that so that we can hold ourselves accountable. Let's repeat that as often as we have to in order to really lock in that remembrance, because it's the ultimate truth. We get what we give. And that makes us be more careful, with the way that we're thinking, the thoughts we're thinking, the words we're choosing to speak, the actions we're choosing to take. When we first pause to affirm that whatever I'm given, this is what I'm going to get back, it makes us refine a little bit. Or it fortifies what we do with confidence, choose to think, say, and do. Okay, so we're leaving behind indecision, and instead we're accepting clarity. We're not trying so hard to make a decision about something that's just not coming gracefully. Instead, we're just going to choose to be decided about the things that are clear and true right now. And in order to take that to the deepest level of initiation, what we can be sure about always, decided about always, is law, universal law and truth. We can choose to accept those laws right here, right now. That's a decision we can make with total confidence in any moment. It doesn't matter where we are or when we are. Because across time and space, these laws and truths are universal. So instead of using our energy to try so hard to make a decision about something that is only temporary anyway, even if it's something that involves the next 10, 20 years of our lives, these bodies don't last. So if we're struggling so much to make a decision, the truth is it's not time to make that decision. Instead, choose to be focused on what is everlasting, what is true in all moments, what will never fail us, which is universal law. Come back to that. When you find yourself struggling to make a decision or make a choice, choose to trust in, put your faith in universal law. Okay, so for example, you might have been so stressed out trying to decide where your life is going to go next. And instead we're being asked to right now remember that, well, you get what you give in the end. So instead of trying so hard, first focus on the work that you have to do on yourself and discover it by examining your relationships. They'll tell you about your relationship with yourself and with the world. And once you uncover those shortcomings or those limitations, fix them, shift them. Use this as an opportunity to shift the way that you see yourself and the world. And then you'll know which way to go. Then you can approach that choice point with greater clarity. It can't be the other way around. We're not ready to come to this crossroads and decide which way to go until we uncover what needs to be integrated. I don't want to choose to go this way or that until I know what my blind spots are, what my limitations are. No, first I'm going to really examine my relationship to myself and to others in the world. I'm going to ask, where have I been limiting myself? And then once I identify the limitation and correct it and free up my energy to be more present, to be more wholly who I am here now, then I'll come back to this choice point, to this crossroads, and being more of an embodiment of who I really, truly am. From there, I will confidently choose to go this way or that, to choose this life path or that life path. Because when I'm fully embodying who I really am, I'm a reflection of the truth, and the truth will guide my way. The truth inside my heart will guide the way. And in that moment of that choice point, that crossroads, me being an embodiment and reflection of universal truth, I will ultimately know that no matter which way I go, there's only one path. There's only one. And it never really mattered whether I was going to choose this way or that. What really mattered was me doing the inner work so that whichever turn I take in life, or whichever choice I make in life, I'm doing it from a place of confidence, from a place of self-trust, self-understanding, with the goal in mind of self-actualization. You see, it's not about which direction I'm going. Direction is an illusion. There's only one. But what it's really about is my own empowerment and my own ability to be who I really am, and to use whatever comes along my path, people, projects, opportunities, whatever comes along my path, as an opportunity to be more fully myself, as an opportunity to insert the light of who we truly are, the light of universal truth in the world, to use my senses to be a vessel and a bridge for that light to come through and manifest here on this earthly plane. Remember, so it's not about am I going to go this way or that? Am I going to be with this person or that person? Am I going to do this job or that job? Am I going to live here or there? Be careful not to base your decisions simply on logic. You need to base your decisions equally on intuition. It needs to be about the bigger picture. You need to ask, well, it's not about this house or that house. It's about the opportunities that are going to come to me for growth if I live in this environment or that environment. And what this message is telling us so far is that we're struggling so hard to choose this, choose that, make decisions, but we're not fully ready to decide anything until we're able to remember who we are more fully, more presently. And the light of the full moon is going to help us right now by revealing our limitations, our limiting beliefs that we have through examining our relationships. That's where they're going to be the most obvious. Okay, so we've got to do this work so that we can be ready to make these decisions. And there will always be decisions to make. What's more important is the work. We've got to do that work so that we can make these decisions from a higher perspective, from a more prepared space, from a more whole and holy presence. Because that's what it's about. And the more present and whole and full of light we can be upon making these decisions will determine how much light we carry with us along the path that we choose. Remember, it's not about the way the path looks or the details, the material details of any of the paths or any of the choices. It's about how fully can we be present when we make the decision to take the first step toward this path or that, to take the first step in any direction. And what kind of light and intention and purpose are we going to walk with when we choose this or that, or this relationship or that relationship, or this job or that project? So stop trying so hard to pick this or that. First, do the work you need to do to call in the relationships and the environments that are going to support you to be the best you. And in order to even do that, we need to see how we've been doing the opposite. How have we not been doing that? How have we been choosing environments and relationships that are less than supportive? And how is that just, and not to blame anything outside of us, but how is that showing us how we have been choosing that? Why have we been choosing those less than supportive things? What is it we believe about ourselves? Or what is it why do we feel that we're not worthy to have better? And how can we begin to affirm now that we absolutely are worthy of attracting better? And what's more is, how can we ensure that we are going to attract better by connecting our worthiness to the whole, to the collective? By affirming that, hey, universe, I need better relationships and a better environment and better opportunities so that I can be supported, so that I can support us. Take it all the way there. Don't just ask for better relationships and a better environment so that you can be supported yourself. Okay, because that's self-serving and it's not going to last very long. You're going to end up right back where you started. But how can you connect your desire and your need for more support to your divine purpose of serving all of life? And then the deepest, truest part of yourself will begin to feel worthy. And that deepest part of yourself will say, wow, I do deserve better. Because I need to be supported if I want to be supportive. to all of life. And you start to really, in a very rational way even, understand that, oh yeah, I need to be supported if I want to support others. Right? It's like the old saying, if your cup is not full, how can you pour to others? You have to help yourself to help others, right? And so you need to ask, know that you are worthy, more than worthy. You need support. You need support in your relationships so that you can be able to support others in those relationships, so that you can be able to support life. Okay? So it's time to discover those ways in which we've maybe not been believing that. And to fix it, to start believing it, to start attracting the support that we need. So then, from there, we can feel more confident in making decisions. And we can feel more confident with the effects of our decisions. We can feel more prepared with what comes with the path of our choosing. And the ally of the week is the letter Nun. Okay, it's the 14th letter of the alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet. And the hieroglyphic symbol that's associated with the letter Nun is a seed. It's a seed which contains the blueprint for what's to come. It's connected to the card 14 in the tarot, which is known as temperance, or in ancient Egypt known as the alchemist. Okay? And I just want to point out too that 14 can be reduced to a 5. Oh, and someone just said it in that moment too. Exactly, 5. Mm-hmm. The two cards we pulled are a 2 and a 3, which makes 5. And 14 is the higher power of 5. 14 is the evolution of the number 5. When you take a double digit, reduce it to the single digit, it gives you the keynote or the hidden element within that particular letter or card. So the Nun is the evolution. The 14 is the evolution of the 5. So this is really beautiful. And if the Nun, the temperance card, the seed is our ally, it's telling us you are writing the script. It's saying this is what's going to be helpful to remember as you move through the challenge of the week. You are writing the script. Okay? It's your choice. You make the choices. You make the decisions for your path. Ultimately, you're the one who wrote all of these experiences you're having right now. So what does that tell us? A, it wouldn't be good to resist anything we're experiencing right now. And B, it would be in our best interest to not only not resist, but fully accept, fully take responsibility for our lives and what it is we're experiencing right now. Okay, so basically you want to see through the eyes of the Nun, see through the eyes of the angel of temperance, the situation at hand. So through the eyes of the Nun, we are looking at the situation and we're going, okay, I attracted these relationships. I wrote the script for my life. And so how can I take responsibility right now and write a new script? How can I remember, first of all, that I attracted this, right? Which right away helps you to release any resistance, to stop self-victimizing, right? It right away gives you back your power when you remember that you are the writer of the script of your life. And now that you have all your power back after affirming that, we say, oh, and the pen is still in my hand. And so now that I have my fullest presence, because I'm taking responsibility and giving up my old habits of self-victimization, I forgot that I was writing the script. Okay, now that I remember, the pen is still in my hand, let me now, with my fullest presence, write the script for the next chapter. Let me write, and it would be a great time to actually pick up a journal and literally write. Okay, it's going to help you activate this archetypal situation to carry you through. So pick up a pen and say, okay, since I'm the writer of the script of my life, let me write the ways in which I wish to see my relationships evolve right now. my relationships with this person or this team or these workmates or these family members. Let me rewrite the relationship I have with myself. Just try it. What do you have to lose? Pick up a pen. And there's no wrong way to do this. Remember, the whole point is that you're the writer of the script. It was you in the beginning, and it's you in the never end. So get in touch with that part of you that knows that. Get in touch with the director that is you, the creator, the alchemist that is you. Okay, and if you look at the Temperance card in the tarot that's connected to the Nun, card number 14, you will see it's an angel who is, he has 2 cups and he's pouring from them, and it's representing the 2 forces of polarity that make up all of life. The forces of intuition and logic, okay? The body and the spirit, the masculine and the feminine, the active and the receptive. So what that's saying is you are the one, you are the being beyond this body who's writing that script, who's concocting the formula for life, who's putting together the balance that's going to represent your next experience. So how can you get in touch with that part of yourself and say, okay, I remember the elixirs that I'm working with, the 2 elements that make up all of life, the above and below, the within, the without, the masculine, the feminine, the logic, the intuition. And being that those are my tools, let me see how those forces are operating behind all of my relationships and within my own mind, my relationship with myself. And let me rebalance those forces within the already existing relationships. Or let me rebalance those forces to manifest new relationships, new experiences. Okay, so with the Nun being the ally, it's simply saying, remember what your tools are. Okay, these 2 forces that make up all of life. They are your tools to be able to rewrite the script. Okay, and remember too that nothing is new. Nothing under the sun is new. Everything is just the original light of creation being repatterned, restructured. Remember that. Okay? Everything is that original light of creation being restructured. And when that original light of creation came through to make all of what you see around you, it was separated into these 2 forces of masculinity and femininity. Everything in our reality is made up of these forces vibrating in opposition. That's what holds it all together, this grand illusion. And so the way that you define and relate to those 2 forces, masculine, feminine, logic, intuition, is the way that you will define your relationship to yourself, your relationship to others, and your relationship to the world. So start there. Periodically, you should be reconnecting to the definitions of these forces. Periodically, you should be refining and reaffirming your definition of each of these forces. And then from there, asking, how am I embodying these forces? How am I staying aware of my environment and the way in which it's reflecting those forces? Okay, so that's your ultimate tool to be able to connect to the alchemist within, or the Nun within, is to remember that those 2 forces make up everything. And if you remember that, you'll be able to see through all illusion. Okay, so this week, that part of you, the Nun, the alchemist, is reminding you of that, what your powers are, these 2 forces, and saying, how can you work with those 2 to shift your relationship with yourself, to shift your relationship with others, to shift your relationship with the environment, to rewrite the script, to use those same original forces of creation, but just reconfigure them in a way that's going to be more supportive of you, of your friends, of your family, and of all of life. Okay? So it's time to, let's just summarize it. We've only got 3 cards. At the time of this full moon, I just want to point out too that the moon is up in the sky there. It's time to let go of the need to make any decisions right now. It's time to pause from trying so hard. If you're trying so hard, that's a sign that you got to let it go. For a moment at least. Okay? Stop trying so hard to make decisions. Instead, first focus on allowing the light of the full moon to reveal to you the ways in which you have not been attracting the most supportive friends, the most supportive relationships, the most supportive projects. And allow those reflections to tell you your beliefs about yourself and what you deserve or what you have been subconsciously feeling you don't deserve. Remember also that you get what you give. And so you can't lie to yourself. Okay? If you're not getting the support that you need, it's time to start getting it by first giving it. Okay? And the best way you can begin to give support, to give light, to give love, to be an embodiment of compassion, is by remembering that compassion is an embodiment of balance, of the forces of masculinity and femininity, logic and intuition, mother, father. And the two of them together in harmony are God, the creator. Okay? When you marry those forces within you, they reflect the light of the creator, which is the light of compassion, which is the all virtuous light. Okay? So the best way that you can give to the world, and the ally reminds us of this, is by remembering that your forces of power are those two forces that make up all of life, and they exist within you. And those are the only thing that you have control over, because they're inside of you. You are the space keeper, the space holder for them. So start there. Remember, they are your powers to work with. They are how you perform alchemy, by getting in touch with them and knowing that your definition of them, the way that you relate to them, is going to affect the way that you define others and the world. It's going to affect the way that you relate to and with others and the world. So the nun reminds us, start there. You're writing the script. It's in your hands. The pen is in your hands. Shift your relationship to yourself, your relationship with others, and your relationship with the world by remembering the alchemist in you, who works with the two forces of all creation. Okay, so it's like funny, instead of working with this two, indecision, trying to go this way or that, instead get in touch with the two within you. Focus on balancing them. Then when you come back to a choice point or a point in life where you're at a crossroads, you need to make a decision, you will do it from that place of wholeness and balance. And that balance will guide you. And it won't matter. Then you'll understand that it won't matter if you're choosing X, Y, or Z. What really matters is that you're choosing from that balanced place within yourself. Remember, 2, 3 makes 5, which is the hidden keynote of the 14. If you'd like to put the ally on your altar or make it your phone background, you can Google Hebrew letter Nun, N-U-N. Again, it looks like this. If you want to put any of these cards on your altar, it was the 3 of Cups and the 2 of Swords. You can Google them, you can print them. If you have a deck, you can use them right out of your deck. Remember that these symbols, these colors, these shapes, they all touch parts of your brain. They all light up parts of your brain effortlessly, just by looking at them, just by meditating on them. Without even really understanding tarot, or you don't have to be able to read Hebrew. These symbols talk to certain parts of our brains, certain angles of awareness that we want to light up, certain neural pathways that we want to light up. And using the symbols, using the imagery is a way to get in touch with those parts of ourselves that otherwise would be untouchable because of our egos being in the way, because of our experiences, our human experience being in the way, our attachments, our limiting beliefs being in the way. So if you want to bypass all that, you can simply look at these cards, look at the symbols, look at the images, And they will help you get to that place, touch those parts of yourself that you otherwise wouldn't be able to see. You wouldn't even be able to understand those parts of yourself because of the limitations we set upon ourselves. And remember, every limitation is perfect. It's just perfect. Even the limitations are a part of the plan. And we got to trust that. Thank you guys so much for opening up this portal with me. I'm really looking forward to going deeper with this through the week, writing the script. And I feel very connected to the archetypes. This is the work that I do. I'm so passionate about it, of course. And so I just want to remind you guys that even I, who does this work every day, I'm right there with you. I have the same work to do. It's time for me to take my relationships and my material situations to the next level so that I can be more supportive of the world and so that the world can be more supportive of me, because there's always a next level to reach. So I'm really looking forward to doing this work with you guys. And if you're not already a part of my private groups on Facebook, they're called Royal Path, and the other one is called Shabbat Crew, where we'll be doing the candle lighting for Shabbat tonight in that group. And I share a little bit about the current Torah story from a Kabbalistic perspective every week in that group. So again, the groups are Royal Path, Shabbat Crew. You can find them here on Royal Path Tarot Facebook page. And I would love to hear on this wall or in those groups about the work that you do this week and how, what are the insights you gained from this activation portal? How are you going to make a change in your life? How are you going to remember the pen is in your hand and write the next part of your story? Please share with us your process so that we can all access the most perspective possible, so that we can see from the most angles possible. And that's why our community is here. And if you have a friend or a family member or a group that you want to share this activation with, please go ahead and share it. It will be available shortly on YouTube, Rebecca Magic, and Instagram, Rebecca Magic, for those lovely souls who are not on Facebook. I'll see you next week for the final quarter moon to wrap up this cycle and prepare for the next. And if you're a part of our group Shabbat Crew, I'll see you there tonight. I did share some resources already for tonight's Torah story. And I want to say thank you for everybody who has reached out about my book, letting me know the ways that my book has been affecting your life. Thank you to everybody who has reached out for a one-on-one session this week. They've all been increasingly more magical, just really affirming my purpose and affirming our oneness, our unity, and our connection to the archetypes and the grand original archetype, the creator. So thank you. And if you feel called to leave a review on my page, Royal Path Tarot, I would be so grateful. I'm trying to be better about asking for reviews. That's one way that I can ask my relationships to support me. So trying to do that work, yo. So good to see you all here. Thank you so much for opening up this portal, for opening it up with me every week, and for doing the work that comes through, for taking on these assignments, these sacred assignments from the archetypes. I'm doing it with you. We're doing it together. Aloha. Shalom. See you later tonight.